Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be talking about NNDM, Nano Dimension Ltd. I'm going to go through technical analysis just for quick, and then I'm going to go deeply into news of everything I can find about this company. There's a lot to cover, so I'll try to go as fast as I can while being consistent. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, subscribe, and leave notifications on. At any point of the video, if you have any questions, make sure you mention them down in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. On a 1 week perspective, what we get to see here is an MACD that seems to be recovering from what was a negative reversal attempt on the week of the 23rd of August. And we get to see a really beautiful push forward, and even then we get to see high volumes, lower volumes, and then back on high. That really shows in an unbalanced volume that is amazing. ADX shows in a very strong trend. Now it's not above 40, so it's still safe to assume that this trend will continue on a 1 week base. William %R puts this one really close to overbought and has been climbing around there for quite a little. And you get to see in terms of momentum, it did go from almost negative, let's say 46, all the way to 251 on the momentum scale. So really bullish on the 1 week perspective, including onto the 1 week perspective, including onto the 200 SMA and the moving averages. The 200 SMA, although, has been climbing down, so it's coming in more bullish, but it's still above the price point, which is bearish. Nonetheless, all in all, I would say bullish on the 1 week perspective. Going on towards the 1 day perspective, here's where we get to see a little bit of resistance in some of the technical analysis. Moving averages extremely bullish. You can't be more bullish than this. Now, what we get to see here is that the stock is actually hitting a new high, which is the $6 mark. Now, it's very bullish on the moving averages. 80x here is 49.26. Above 50, that is where your trend actually starts to see a little bit of resistance and might start seeing a negative reversal there above 50. William %R went from overbought to somewhere around neutral, which is a positive case to be in. Momentum is slipping just a tad, but volume has jumped up from 40 million all the way to 106 million. Gives us a good indication. Especially that the MACD seems to be recovering really well. I mean, it did see a jump over here all the way to 30th of September. And then we did see an offering, I believe, at 230. And then October 5th, the offering closed, which would be somewhere around here. And then we start seeing a really nice recovery, which is not just an offering hype, but it actually looks like it is believers investing in this company. It put it on the radar. You get to see that by the true volume, where we're looking back into the lower millions, and you get to see massive inflow coming in. Alright, rambled down a little. Let's go back to the 1 hour perspective. It's just merely for the next few hours. We get to see an MACD that's gone negative. It doesn't look like it's actually recovering into it, but we might get to see that it actually enters into the trading action zone. So right now, it was in the trading action zone, so a reversal in the extended hours. What we might get to see is that it enters back the trading action zone and then jumps back. So that's just merely for the next few hours onto Monday. ADX, it hit up to 54.76. Pullback. That kind of, you can see it here. It's more of a similar trend that keeps going up and down. That's what the ADX is telling us, that it's right now on a short pullback, but as long as an uptrend is following, it high highs and high lows, which is a positive, good, healthy trend. William %R put this one oversold almost all during the trading hours, and momentum seems to be slipped just a little, but is recovering. Taking a quick look into the moving average band, we get to see this one actually looks quite nice. The moving average band, although, is a 276 on the top, middle 251, and the bottom is 226. Stochastic here, that is where we get a little bit of a dangerous sign. So now what we're getting is very similar to what we received here, although the stochastic did reach 100 on the %K, and that's a dangerous sign. It usually rebounds from there, but we've seen it already kind of fall down, rebound back. So what we can expect in theory, that it actually does see a pullback. Now the biggest concern is how far is that pullback. Now that's on the stochastic fast, and you get to see it's actually hitting on the top. I would say around 71.23 is where you want to look at it in case it does drop there. I want to put your stop limit somewhere around there. But last time it did see that fast, which was somewhere around this region here, it did see a red day next. So we're going to be using our technical analysis and candlesticks to determine if it's going to move forward based on the first few hours of trading on Monday. Stochastic slow, doesn't show the exact same thing. You need the red line to start kind of recovering a little bit downwards. So what we get to see something very similar to what we've seen here. Right now we're at this stage here, and you get to see that once the red actually starts peaking and curving down, that's where you start seeing the height around this peak here. This one's still on an uptrend and still hasn't curved down yet. So all in all, it still looks bullish. Now coming on towards Fibonacci retracements and supports and resistances. Now we're hitting it all the way from the $6 height of the new high that was recorded on Friday. Currently it's sitting at a resistance, support of 483 and a resistance of $6. Below there 391 and below there 326 in terms of supports. Now coming in towards finding the supports and resistances, current resistance sits at 491, the exact same one that's been tested before. So that is an amazing thing. As soon as it hits 491, you can easily see with volume $6, and we all know with volume, when it comes in with terms of a stock like this, you might actually even see further on beyond 6, like we've seen here previously. Supports, we get to see 460, 450. Oh, there we're looking at 392, 365, 352, and the significant one that I think would probably see a massive drop if it does break through it is the 340. Now anything below there, I don't think you should be holding from that level. I mean, your stop limit should probably be very tight when it comes in towards next trading session. Now coming on towards the channel that it has created. A really beautiful channel from the 150. It's a really massive jump in terms of trend, almost double. Now if we're talking 150 to 6, it's more than double. It's actually 4 times, 400%, but I'm talking about the trend line itself. It's in the top channel, and it has broken this channel, and that's a really bullish sign. The question is, if it does drop, it can drop all the way to 360, which is a dangerous sign to be in, but that's just in terms of trying to find out of volume what the trend is going to be. So we're going to really focus onto volume here. Now, sorry, I did bore you quite enough in terms of technical analysis, so let's jump right into the good stuff. DragonFly. So what do? They do nanos 3D additive fabrication services. So they basically 3D print chips that are more smaller in size using 3D technology, and they go on through wearables and different products that I'm going to mention here, and they also have their actual system that they do sell. So it goes anywhere from low passive filters to 3D MIDs to coils and inductors, RF antennas, vertically stacked integrated circuits, AME circuits with side mounted and inserted components, IoT/Wi-Fi access points, AME circuits with integrated functional capacitors. And so they have different applications: research, aerospace, medical, defense, automotive, and industry. So it's quite interesting, and you get to see as well in their presentation. It's quite lengthy, so I'll try to go as fast as I can. Their presentation is packed quite with some interesting things. First things first, blue chip customers, they have around 57 systems sold in between 2018 and 2019. That is quite exciting for us here. Industry leader with awards and grants. And the three main usages for this one is shortening prototype cycles for high-end IPADs in-house, unique device solutions with miniaturized lower weight, fabricated in high mix/low volumes only by 3D printing. Now, some of the research institutes, we're talking about academic institutions and universities, research innovation centers, government agencies. Now, the one I'm most excited about is defense in aerospace. That is massive. Now, you still have intelligent drones, autonomous automotive developments. That's also very important. Robotics, in vivo medical devices, and commercial aviation. Additive services include Additive Service Bureau, PCB service bureaus, in-house print services, and NANOS, nano services. Now, I'm going to try to go a little bit faster here in terms of trying to progress further. Now, in terms of debt, the only debt that I could identify is $0.22 million for Corona US government. Now, coming on towards their new US management for Nano Dimension. Now, I did go on and I pulled up a couple of actual profiles, and I believe it's actually Yevo Stern and someone else. And what's exciting about this one here, and I'll show you in a little, is their actual portfolios. These are not just random business people. They actually have founded some companies before, so they show a lot of strength when it comes in towards products or previous companies that they have raised a lot of money, they have made it profitable. So it kind of gives you a bit of an insight towards where you're putting your money. You're putting your money with people that have been proven that they've succeeded before. 2017 3D printed electronics market size is estimated to be at 176 million, expected to reach 592 million in 2021, and up to 2.4 billion by 2025. Now, the estimate right now for 3D printing industry worldwide spending is around 26 billion to be estimated in 2023. Now, that's just the 3D printing itself. We're talking about the industry itself. We're talking as well about chips, which is very important as well for this application, especially when it comes into chips and whatnot. Printing them towards being different sizes or shapes that can be very difficult at times when it comes into prototyping. This is where it comes into prototyping. Moving on, there's around 30 plus patent applications that we're looking for. The only prototype in fabrication is massive, 24/7 3D printing of electronic circuits AME, and cost efficient for small medium-sized quantities. Now, I do see a massive application for this one in universities and research institutes as well as defense. And why am I talking about this one is you get to see in 2018 the sales breakdown. We went from 30% defense sales to 41% defense sales. We went to research and universities from 17% to 26%. Now, resellers have increased a little in terms of the piece of the pie, but we're looking as well, by the way, to almost the exact same sales, around 27 versus 30 systems sold. But you get to see the defense sector and universities in research are grabbing more of that. Now, especially in the US, if they do get applications for defense, that is massive. Defense spending in the US is massive. The next thing we're looking at is the example for rapid prototyping at Hensoldt, HENSOLDT. And what we're looking at is in the 4 months, it actually got from the the conventional thing is from 4 months. That's what it takes. Now, when it comes on towards the ACP, you're looking at 60 plus 8 hours, a few days in terms of populating it and populating front and back, and you get finished board in what looks to be very much in terms of just a few days, perhaps a week compared to 4 months. So that is exciting in terms of prototyping. Now we're going to go on towards one more thing here is what kind of sensors they have. And the really cool thing about this one here is they have different applications. And we're going on through basic sensors that can be more of electronic tattoos to smart patches, body sensing, data management, body control. We're looking at different technologies that are being added on here. And that is quite exciting for myself to see. In terms of a company, when you're talking about boards and when you're investing in more of like revolutionary equipment. So that is exciting for me. Now we're going to go on towards plans for 2020. So they're planning for 2020 Q4 to 2021. That's the growth base. So you're going to be seeing a lot of PRs coming up next towards expansions, and plan for Q3 to 4 is so they have leverage in terms of building pipelines for USA and EMA machines. That's expanding ADE and product B plus C. Now, if we were looking into their kind of expansions here for 2021 growth, they're looking at resellers by agents and direct sales. And then basically they have plotted their kind of spots. Mainly it's, I would say, Europe, USA, and as well it looks like somewhere in East Asia as well, and a bit of Australia in terms of ongoing priorities. The first priority is in the US for Nano Dimension new headquarters, and that could be a really nice PR to see. Next thing is Europe for the go-to-market strategy, new marketing methodologies implemented, and the build of sales network internationally. Now, this has been a lengthy one, so I'm going to try to go on through the SEC filings to see what we have. So, first things first is their closed $15.9 million registered offering. That's been on for $230 per share. That closed in on October 5th, and it was announced on September 30th. Next thing is, well, we do already know that the proposed maximum offering, that's the same thing, almost the same thing that we've hit before in terms of offering. Now, this is part of actual offering package. The other part goes on way before in a different filing. I'm not going to go through that. Now, when we're looking at Dr. Joseph Kaplan, seasoned technology leader, to become the Nano Dimensional CTO Materials and VP of R&D and Product Development, pulled up his LinkedIn account, and we get to see he's actually had an extensive experience as CTO. 24 years in Gal EL MMC, and he was a CTO and co-founder for Phoenix Technology Limited. I did take a quick look into Phoenix Technology Limited. It's a technology chip company, mainly looking into pumping heat, moving heat, controlling heat, and then they have different as well solutions and products that they're looking at in terms of climate control, components, food and beverage, life science and healthcare, and optoelectronics. So quite interesting to see. Looks like they do have the right experience for this job, so it looks quite exciting in terms of that. Now the next thing is Garrett Ayton, which is one of the board directors here, has invested in the company. We were looking somewhere around almost 4 million shares at 225. Now he is the CEO, and he did invest into this company. He's one of the directors, and he did invest in the company. So the thing is that when they're putting their money where the mouth is, right, and they're actually investing in the same company they're working for, they must know something in terms of coming into the future. This guy was a director from March 2020 till now, and that shows something. And this PR was all the way back to September. So pretty sure he was able to understand better how the market was going in terms for this company, and he has the leadership skills to identify for this company whether it's actually going to be successful or not. He's been co-founder and chairman for a bunch of different companies before, including co-founder and CEO of DeepCube, co-founder and chairman for Merapi Health, and as well managing partner for Selway Capital. So he's pretty seasoned, so if he trusts with his money with $4 million into this company, gives me some kind of insight here. Similarly, Nano Dimension's president and CEO invests in the company, and he invests around $5.16 million. Same thing. Now, when it comes in towards proposed maximum offering shares, you have around somewhere $15 million, $15.4 million in terms of the offering shelf price. And that goes on towards different prices that they go on, but we're talking about almost 12 million shares. Now, in their last offering, 12 million shares plus a bit more into here. So we're talking, we only subtracted around, what are we looking at? 7.4 million. So they do still have a lot of shares on hand. Some of them go towards warrants and whatnot, but that's just to keep in mind. Now coming on towards their financials. How are they doing? What's their balance sheet? In terms of assets and cash, they've doubled around 5 times. 11, I believe this is thousands. Yeah, so 11 million to 54.5 million. Quite exciting in that sense. Then we're going in terms of revenue. That looks a little bit rough, but we basically ended for 3 months, 288 compared to 2019 for 1.161 million, so 288,000. We're looking at 6 months. It looks like you're sitting at 990,000 compared to almost 3 million. That could be very much towards coronavirus and COVID-19 in terms of impacting the global market, but we're looking at a total comprehensive loss. Instead of 2.6 million, you're looking at 10.3 million. So that is quite interesting, but one thing to count on is the difference in gross profit. You're looking at $15,000 compared to $505,000. That is highly alarming. And the price did get adjusted for that, but we get to see that the actual had investments from the board of directors, so they might know something different. Nano Dimension appoints LM Instruments to market its revolutionary PCB/high PED 3D printers. That was a while ago. I think this is pretty good news to hear all the way back, but it gives more as well an insight in terms of the partners. Not going to go through LM Instruments, so you can search it yourself, but it's a Baltimore/Washington DC partner. Last but not least is the reverse split that they did have back in June 16th. So the price you're looking at right now, talk about having 1/10 of what it is before. So that gives you, 1/50th. That kind of gives you, if it's right now sitting at 5 for ordinary shares, it used to be 10 cents. So that is quite significant when you're thinking about the company itself in terms of the charts. Another thing that is bearish is that the insider transactions here, or sorry, institutional transactions. We don't see anything happening in the last few months. And in fact, no significant positions are available for 13F and fund filings. So that is alarming for me. And I'm very sorry about the very long video. I'm just trying not to miss anything. So how would I trade this one? That's very, very important. Here's my plan. Monday morning, I usually watch a bunch of stocks. This one here is in the right place to make a nice move. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking for what's called a bullish kicker. Now, I do expect into Monday morning you might actually see a little bit of a pullback. And I would like to see a green candle on, let's say, a 15-minute scale. With the right volume, if I see right volume and it's actually going on towards the green candle, I can enter with a position, more of a scalping style, for just a day. Because right now it's at a dangerous level. Long term, it has amazing, tremendous military style and university/research institution opportunities. But I'm talking for the very short term, just because you're looking basically either making money through scalping or trying to signify where your entry is, how important, or trying to understand what the best entry you're getting for. So I do expect to pull back for this one, perhaps into Monday morning, and then I'll be looking for a bullish kicker to enter this one, buy it in, have this really strict stop limit. And if I get stopped out, it's fine. If I miss on some profits, and jumps, skyrockets back, it's fine, because this is my risk level, and this is where you gotta determine what's your risk level. Probably put some money on this. And as I see a bullish kicker, ride it with volume. Volume is very important. You can easily see a new high on this one. $5 to $6 with such volume and movement is not that much. So this is kind of my plan that I'm going to go for, but I'm going to be also putting a stop limit very closely to around the 460 or just below my entry. What do you think about this sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Subscribe and like. You have a wonderful day.